Hello everyone. So today we are hosting the co-founders of BobW, our most recent investment, Nico Karstico and Sebastian Enberger.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. So Nico has previously founded a VC-backed consumer tech business named Sportsetter that he successfully exited in 2016. And Nico is also a hospitality entrepreneur. Thank you for coming once again, Nico.
Thanks.
Sebastian has background in investment banking at William Blair and Leonardo. He also successfully led the family business to an acquisition before founding BobW. Thank you, Sebastian, for coming again.
Thanks for having me.
So guys, can you tell our viewers a little bit more about BobW?
I mean, BobW is the slicker alternative to hotels and random rentals. It's a hybrid of the best of the hotel experience, best of the short stay rental experience, aka what consumers would call Airbnb, packaged into this affordable luxury brand called BobW. And most importantly, under the hood, the whole thing runs on tech. So on the one hand, we never screw things up. We save on costs. But on the other hand, we actually improve the quality and create an amazing, empathetic, smooth experience for the guest to really elevate the experience of what hospitality can be for the modern traveler.
Thank you for this intro. So what was your inspiration? How did it start, basically?
I think in a way, the backdrop is that since 2012, I had started Airbnb because I was always on the road with my startup. First my apartment, but then investment apartment, brother's investment apartment, etc., and up to 7 apartments. And once then I exited the firm and decided I want to take a break in Asia. I was preparing to how do I deal with these 7 apartments. I basically recognized that, hey, I can manage this thing completely remotely. Good chat-based customer service, 6 months of soap in the closet, a good robust to-do list for the cleaners. But you also, as a startup founder, thinking of ways to redo business models, you start seeing also that, wow, this really would have an opportunity to do something spectacular if you actually were in control of the tech, the hardware, and the physical product. Then when I went to Asia, we realized that effectively, why am I somebody who likes the Airbnb experience, live like a local, home-like setting, etc.? Why the heck am I spending so much of my time in the Hiltons and the Marriotts of the world? And start realizing it's the hit or miss of the experience. Do you trust the host? Do you trust the pictures? What about key pickup? Does the washing machine really work because I need it to work, etc., etc.? So that's when me and Sebastian, old study abroad mates from Helsinki Aalto University, started talking, and we realized that there's a massive hotel industry that's consolidated. Even in Europe alone, 7 million plus hotel rooms. That's consolidated, has brands, and has standards, 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, etc. Now, the short stay market is over 4 million listings. However, it's completely amateur, it's completely fragmented, and there is no brands, and there is no standards. So according to estimates, 0.5% of that market is branded. So basically, looking at this, we thought that's exactly what we're going to do, is we're going to create a new category of hospitality, a hybrid of the best of the hotel, best of the short stay experience, which is geared towards the next generation of traveler, the traveler that mixes business with pleasure, taking the consistency of a hotel, the scale of a hotel, and the services that are available thanks to tech, and then from the short stays, the utilities and amenities of an apartment, the better bang for the buck, as well as the technology, as opposed to the classical front desks or operational layer. And we packaged that up into the affordable luxury brand called BobW, and under the hood, we make the whole thing run on tech, as we discussed.
Sounds very exciting, but we as investors, we know that it's very challenging at the same time. There are many ups and downs over this journey. So could you tell us a little bit more on what were the biggest challenges that you had to overcome?
Aside from this guy?
Well, I think probably the obvious answer to that is the pandemic, right? So we had great timing. We kind of launched our first multi-unit asset in August 2018, had a super successful and super quick ramp up until December 2019. And then the rumors about the virus were sort of starting, and I guess nobody in our industry back then, or actually nobody in general, had any idea what's going to happen, right? So in the beginning, we kind of observed this from a certain distance, obviously. But then beginning of 2020, it sort of really started hitting, right? And we saw still a small fledgling business, growing numbers, but all of a sudden everything kind of tanked. And we saw occupancy rates tank, and well, nobody knew what really to do in that situation. And I think that at that point we sort of took a step back, right? And we knew we don't understand fully what's going on. So what makes the most sense in this very situation? Does it make sense now to just put the foot on the gas and sort of just start growing? Obviously, I think that was not the answer. So what we did was very much focused on the technology piece and sort of focused on building resilience in the business through technology. So basically building the right revenue management and pricing algorithms so that you can sort of have you have more flexibility in your model. Because what the data showed us very early on in that process is that demand for short-term travel, like 1, 2, 3, 4 nights, is not really existing anymore. But there was still demand for longer-term travel, be it through like frontline workers or like medical staff and these kind of people that you can sort of accommodate, right? So we've built the technology to cater to both shorter and longer stays, and sort of, I think in hindsight, it was basically a blessing in disguise for us, right? It was a big challenge at that point, but we learned a lot about building resilience in the operational model, building resilience on the technology stack, etc. Yeah, I think that was probably the biggest one for us.
What keeps you motivated basically on a daily basis to run through those challenges?
I think that, we're a very mission-driven company. We are very much focused on really recreating the consumer's expectation of what hospitality can be. We operate in 5 countries today, as you know, and our very mission is to create a 5-star hospitality experience at scale for every guest, every visit, and whilst transitioning the hospitality industry into a sustainable one. Now, that mission is very much thinking extremely critically what the old school hotel model has traditionally been, and getting ourselves out of that framework and actually creating that new standard. And the outcome today is our NPS scores hovering close to 90, 4.9 out of 5 public customer satisfaction rating across the board. That includes buildings we just ramped up where we make mistakes, etc. So we live that every day, and that is super motivating to see this thing come into fruition. That yes, on the one hand, of course, it makes better margins than traditional hotels. It runs more smoothly, etc. But at the end of the day, it's the guests that really make that decision. And aside from that, I'd say we have fun doing this together. So
most of the time.
So that's one of the best things to wake up to, is just having a great team and a great co-founder who just have fun doing this stuff.
You've partially answered to my next question, but maybe you can elaborate a little on where do you see the biggest opportunity in the sector?
Was this mine or yours?
Well, I would probably say it's about collecting the right data and sort of then utilizing that data, right? So we're probably at the very beginning of that journey, but what we've always envisioned since the get-go is, you have like sort of a 4-season style experience. You go into a 4 seasons and you have like more or less one person just taking care of you, right? So this super individual, customized sort of experience. And where we see W developing over the next few years is sort of gathering all kinds of data points about how our customers are moving within the apartment, all GDPR compliant, of course, but how people are moving within the apartments, which kind of amenities they're really using in the apartments, when they're coming, when they are leaving, what kind of upselling products they are purchasing. And through that, build what we call rich guest profiles, right? So we really get to know you over time. And then when you come back over and over again, we sort of customize the experience in a fully automated, fully digitized way, specifically tailor-made for you. Something that probably nowadays only the Four Seasons or similar hotels can do through a lot of personnel on site. We want to solve for that through technology. And I think this is probably one of the biggest drivers, the biggest topic in our industry channel at the moment. Like, how do you customize the experience to the individual traveler?
We've started that journey a couple of years ago already, and now we're really starting to have that. Our tech allows us to now start effectively. We have the framework in place. We already have 200 plus points on each customer profile. Now we can really start making those points actionable and also exponentially increasing the amount of points per guest effectively, so that Bob knows everybody like you do, like the hotel manager knows you, to give him that extra special experience, but at scale.
Cool. Thank you for this. To conclude maybe our talk, I have one last question. If you had not founded Bob W, what would be your alternative career options?
I've been an entrepreneur for so long that I can't see myself do anything else. So if it wasn't this, it would be probably somewhere in adjacent spaces, interrupting consumer experiences, which traditionally have been heavy on people, and doing that in a much lighter technology-driven format that not only brings efficiencies but actually improves the experience. So basically, I'm probably entrepreneur for life.
Thank you, Sebastian.
I guess from today's perspective, it's kind of hard to imagine doing anything else, of course. But when Nico called me up to sort of start talking about Bob a few years back, I was actually considering going back to university and enrolling for a PhD program. So wanted to do some more finance and economics. I guess in hindsight, I'm fairly happy that it never came to that.
We are happy to. So guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for the talk, and good luck with Bob W.
Thank you. And great to have Elevator Ventures and Raiffeisen Bank on the same team.
Thank you so much.